Jim Jefferies is here, everyone. This is the Kyle and Jackie O show. I watched Jim Jefferies the other night, Jackie.
Yes, I know.
And I came on air and I told everyone, if you absolutely need to piss yourself laughing for a good hour and a half, that's the show to go to.
Oh, yeah. People absolutely love Jim Jefferies, and
Even
he joins
Mayo
us
went.
now.
Mayo went to that girl out there. We call her Mayo. We don't want to go into the reason why, but anyway, the boyfriend is on her back and it looks like Mayo. Anyway.
Oh, right.
That's why her name's Mayo. Mayo, you loved it too, right? You laughed and laughed.
It was so good. The best show I've gone to.
Oh, thank you. You're very sweet. That's all
It's
very
true.
nice.
Yeah, you're a very, very, very talented comedian.
And Amos was on. He was good.
He was great too.
He was good. And see, a lot of comics use crappy comics on before them, so they look better.
And you don't.
I use a younger, faster version of me, so I have to fucking sweat it out there.
Now, I did notice, and see, this has come up from time to time in my broadcasting career because I can be a little edgy. Mm-hmm. And sometimes your significant other will be hearing it at home and burst into tears.
Right,
and now you've said a lot of stuff about your missus.
Yeah.
And you've got your parents and your mother-in-law.
Oh, my God. And this is the thing. You
all
have
sorts
to...
of people, family are always hanging around.
Yeah, well, the show you were at, like in the Sydney shows, it's always packed with family. My father was in the audience.
Yeah, I met
my
your dad.
mother-in-law was at. My wife came last night because we have the baby with us, so only my mother-in-law or my wife can come. One of them has to stay back.
Well, that's everyone knows that. Someone's got to look after the
And
baby.
is everybody in the family cool with you talking about them, or is there one person that takes it harder than others?
No, we got so there's I've had like some relatives who didn't talk to me for a very long time, but all sorts of stuff. But all the people in the immediate family, who I pay for, they have to be all right with it. They have to, unless they can find another way to buy us a big house, so they have to put up with the jokes.
Well, you said that also you didn't want to have sex with your wife when she was pregnant because you thought she looked like E.T.
Yeah.
Oh, you've the whole show. You ruined the whole...
That's a small bit. Now,
it's a small bit.
Now they can enjoy an hour 29 of the show.
Exactly. If you've got so much material, but Kyle is, almost there with his baby,
2 months.
right?
I did, I met her, yeah. She came out to the show.
She didn't even look pregnant, did she?
She didn't, not from behind. No,
not from behind.
Sideways,
absolutely.
completely.
Definite. There's no doubt about that.
Did your wife take offence to that when you said that?
Oh, she only heard that joke last night, actually.
No.
And she was standing in the wings, and I said, my wife's standing in the wings. And everyone started cheering. She came out and waved really sheepishly and went, hello. She got a big round of applause. She was very excited.
Did she like that?
My mother-in-law doesn't care about it either. She thinks it's a good laugh. So she, I think people know you're joking.
Oh, of
and
course.
she did look like E.T., man. She's 100 pounds. She's 5 foot tall and she had a pot belly. Like,
my God. It's like,
find me a better description.
I think he's right.
And I don't want to E.T. either. So,
but Kyle wants to have sex with an alien.
If an alien came here, I said I'd definitely get
an illegal alien.
I'd get up
like,
no,
like a person without a passport.
No one from Sri Lanka.
We've all done that.
None of that. Yeah, well, we've all had a crack.
He's talking about the actual alien you see on TV.
If an alien came down, I'd want to get up it. Would you not want to get up it?
Depending. If it was one of those ones, the grey ones with the big eyes, like I like short girls, like one of the ones with like big eyes and that sort of stuff, you give them a go because they look like they have dolphin-like skin.
Yes, I agree.
And no one has ever touched a dolphin without thinking this would feel good. Like no one's ever had their hand near a blowhole and gone, oh, geez, the RSPCA would be angry at me.
You know what? I've got a warning for you. If you've ever gone to Dubai and swim with the dolphins, when you're standing
they wear burqas?
No, when you're standing in the ill-fitting little swimming vest and you've got the Arab telling you, and the guy said, no, under no circumstances are you allowed to insert your fingers into the dolphin's vagina. And I looked around, no one batted an eyelid, and I said to the guy, how often a dolphin's being fingered that you would have to bring that up
in the instructions.
Peter was there. Intern Pete was there. I think that rule was made.
They always look like they're smiling. The dolphins. I have a friend who opens up for me, Forrest Shaw, who's a comedian. He opens up for me in America. He did the last tour out here, and before he was a comic, he was a marine biologist.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh God.
And so he used to. His specialty was manatees in Florida and counting the numbers of different manatees. But he used to when he was like in his early 20s work at a dolphin place, where they jump through hoops and that type of stuff.
Give them the fish.
And he says people can swim with the dolphins or they can swim with the sea lions, right? And they'd pay extra money. It'd always be like a German family or something. Right? So they go there and swim. Now, if a pregnant woman is in the pool with the dolphins use sonar. They'll know right away from day one of the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And they will all lose their shit and they'll fight with each other and they'll try to protect her and get around and all that type of stuff, right? And so this one time, this bloke brings his 16-year-old daughter and it's very clear someone's pregnant. And he goes up to the guy and he goes, I think there's something you need to tell your dad. And he goes, I don't know what he's talking about. And he goes, well, they're never wrong, so you have to go swim with the sea lions now.
Oh, those sea lions.
What a way to come out that you're pregnant.
I know.
In the dolphin enclosure.
So you're still living in Los Angeles and travelling the world from LA? Or
I still live in LA. I've got, my kids and everything there. And I what I do when I'm in America, I do 1 week on, 1 week off for touring. So every second week I go away for 3 cities and I come back. So people always go, how's the tour going? I go, it's been going for 20-something years.
Yeah, so you're continuously touring.
Like this tour in Australia is a real tour where we're doing like 30-something shows in 20-something days,
Yeah.
And
do you prefer doing it this way?
No.
No, I do and I don't. Like, it's good this because I get to see family and that type of stuff, and you bash out a lot of shows at once and you get into a real groove with it. It feels almost like you're at a festival.
Yeah.
Because you're doing so many. But, I'm having a day off in a couple of days. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sending the wife and the mother-in-law on the bridge climb.
What an asshole.
They'll be gone for hours.
A few hours to myself. It's wonderful.
Because I think the instruction in itself just takes like 2 hours before you even begin to climb.
That's why he's doing it. That's why he's sending them.
I know.
Then you get up there. It's a pretty easy old walk, isn't it? It's pretty mild.
If you're not afraid of heights.
The first time I went up to the top of the bridge, because I've done the bridge climb, whenever you bring family over, they always like, that's what they want to do. So I've done it a couple of times, right? And when I got to the top ones, one of the tour guides said, because remember back in the day, people would get drunk and they'd jump over the barbed wire and then they'd walk to the top in the middle of the night. I met a few people who did that, right? And the guy said every morning we'd get up to the top of the bridge and we'd find used condoms, right?
Hey, really?
Yeah, people would go up there. And then I'm like, who are these people who take the risk of jumping over the barbed wire while it's drunk? And then when they get to the top, better put a condom on. Like, if they're not bareback people, who are?
Exactly right.
I remember the story when you were going to be on AGT here, and obviously you didn't find out until you're in quarantine in Australia, and then Neil Patrick Harris got it instead.
Yeah.
Doogie Howser. What an embarrassment.
Right? Do you
I
have
bumped
any...
into him on the flight back.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I didn't tell that bit of the story.
No.
Oh, right. So I'm sitting in the room. Like, I've already got a tour done.
Yep.
Right. I'm sitting there, and then they go, come out to the auditions of AGT with our new host. And then they Neil Patrick Harris. And I was like, fair enough. Right. So I go into the quarantine. I sit there 2 weeks, come out, ready to do my shows. I was filming a documentary for Netflix. It all gets cancelled with lockdown. I get back on the plane. There's only 7 people in business class, and it's me, my wife, Doogie Howser, and his family.
Oh, no.
They're all sitting there on the plane, and I was like, I had a little bit of that Freudenschnauder or whatever they call it, that German thing, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, good, he didn't get his show either.
Yeah, he didn't. No,
he didn't get it either.
No, because of COVID.
It got cancelled.
It got cancelled.
You know, the funny thing, I also got paid to come on there for a guest star for the finale. Pocketed the money, never happened either.
Never happened.
We've all got paid. Thank you, Channel 7.
Didn't get paid.
I was saying no one gets paid until you do the job.
No, I got paid up front.
That's crazy. But what I was going to ask, Jim, do you have like another show that you might be doing in Australia? Like, because I feel as though networks would be crazy not to ask you to do something.
I would love to do a game show or something in Australia, like something where I don't know about doing something where I'd have to be here for a very extended amount of time. But if there's something I could come down and film in a month or something like that, but I can't say too much about it. But there's a drama I might be doing some acting in Australia. So.
Oh, really?
An existing drama or one you've created?
No, not one that I've created, but a new one. But I can't say too much.
Oh, that's exciting.
But, look, let's see if I can be a dramatic actor.
So are you going to be funny in the film? Or
no.
Excuse me, that's not true.
Love
You've
that.
been a dramatic actor.
Have I?
I've watched you on NCIS Los Angeles.
No, I was in
love
SWAT.
that.
I was in
SWAT. Sorry, SWAT.
I'll tell you the SWAT story, right?
So, SWAT. I love that story.
Yeah, I don't know the story.
There was a director on SWAT who worked on Legit, my sitcom, for a little bit. And I remained friends with him. And then, literally a night before SWAT was about to air, he rings me up and he's like, "We've lost one of our actors. Can you come in and play a computer hacker?" Right?
Yes,
And
I would love to play that role.
I want to be a computer hacker. And I was called Shadowbox, right?
That's
and
cool.
I was like this. I was like, all right, I'll come in. I think that would be funny to do a thing, right? So, and then as I get in, they go, "Hey, you have to use an American accent. You can't be speaking in Australian. You have to use an American accent." I said, "Why?" And they laughed at me like this. "Who's ever heard of an Australian computer hacker?" And I was like
insulting.
this. Julian Visage.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right?
The main one of the world.
The most famous.
And then they Googled it and they went, "All right, he's got a point there." But you know what? I think my acting in that was all right. And I'll tell you why. Because
good.
I didn't read the rest of the script. I just read my scenes. Until I watched the show, I wasn't sure if my character was a good guy or a bad guy. I didn't know what his motivation was or anything.
So that's all bullshit, all that stuff about acting.
Yes,
you don't need to
I
know
watched
all
the
that.
show and I'm still not sure.
Jackie thinks that acting is so hard, and I said, it's
Yeah.
really just an extension of running around the backyard with your friends pretending to play soldiers.
Okay, there are people who are good at it and people who are bad at it, but I'll put it this way.
Yep.
12-year-olds have won Oscars.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
all you need to know,
Yeah.
right? Find me a 12-year-old who's a kick-ass stand-up comedian. Or the best radio host in the world.
There is none.
Yeah, where you go, you got to check this guy's hour out. It's amazing. You know, Recess. What's all that about? But somebody what Anna Paquin was when the piano was maybe 10 or 8 or
she was
something.
the youngest to win an Oscar at the time, wasn't she?
Tatum O'Neill is please.
So you think it's easy too? You know
is.
what I find hard though is what to do with your arms to act natural.
Oh, she's beyond help.
Yeah.
You walk into a room and you say something. What do you do with your arms?
Yeah, but what do you do with your arms when you're doing stand-up?
Well,
What do you do with your
I don't-
arms when you're doing radio?
You're very expressive because when you're telling a story, I use my arms
You're
quite a
using
bit.
your arms more now than you've ever used them. Just talking about this story.
Michael Caine says the secret was just don't blink.
Don't blink.
Just
I
blink.
know.
And
it?
I do that on screen as well because people think you're intense and you keep
Yeah.
your eyes open. You just keep
So
going
if you're
for
like
it.
a baddie, you should not blink because blinking is a sign of weakness.
Well, that's
on
what I've
screen.
always said. It's very hard for us Australians in Hollywood because we dominate over in Hollywood, and there's all these great Australian actors, but they're all doing American accents, or sometimes they'll put us in a romantic comedy or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Romantic
But
comedy.
for the most part, the Brits get away with murder in acting. They never have to change their accent.
That's
they
true.
can be in any situation. Like
Why
Sean,
is that?
Yeah, well, because they make good villains.
Right.
You couldn't have an Australian Bond villain.
You're right.
There's not a bloke who
Yeah.
turns around and goes, "Oi, Bond, you." So can you bleep out things?
Yes, we can beep this. We have a live censor here, the only show.
But you know what I'm saying? We just can't do any jobs like that.
That's true. The villain is out for the Australian, unless it's Wolf Creek style. That's the only way they see us
Did
as
that
villains.
movie make it big in America? I'm sure it did. I
Well,
don't
it
know.
definitely did in the UK because a lot of people didn't want to come over here because of him.
Oh my
Well,
God.
he was only after UK backpackers, Malak, wasn't he?
Yeah,
That
hence
was- that
why
was
they didn't
his
want to
thing.
come over.
Hey, and someone told me you were in a porno once. Is that true?
Yes.
Now,
I'll tell you what
Were you
happened there.
rock, you rock hard, or what are you
I've
doing?
tried to. Okay, I've mentioned this first, so if anyone tries to unearth this is just what happened.
This is coming from
This
you.
is coming from me.
I tried to unearth it
you
and
tried?
I couldn't find it.
couldn't find it.
It was for the porn network in Britain, and literally there was a guy that used to come down to the comedy store all the time, and I was broke. And look, I was young, I needed the money, but I didn't. I didn't fuck in the porn. It was.
What'd you do?
I was a game show host. This is literally 22 years ago, right? I was a game show host. There was a show called Stars in Their Eyes where people who looked like
Yes,
other celebrities
I know
would
the
come
one.
out and go, "Today, Michael, I'm going to be
Yeah.
Paul McCartney."
And then
they'd
what
come
a
out,
shit
and then the
show.
smoke would
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, and then they'd transform.
And they'd come out with a wig on with a pretty convincing Paul McCartney, right? So anyway, I did a thing. I think it was called in their eyes.
Oh, great name.
Yeah, look, so they're great with the puns.
You
the
can
porn
relate to
folk.
that,
They're
Jackie.
good,
Yeah,
right?
so, well, yeah.
He relates to that.
I don't. Lucky you have glass. I was on that, and so it was both of these stars were at their peak. This is 20 years ago. So there was one girl dressed up as Britney Spears and one guy dressed up as Eminem. But he was in, like, remember when Eminem was in that era where he wore the old school hockey mask and he came out with a chainsaw overalls, Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. So he was like that. And then they just sort of shagged. But I remember I was about maybe 23 or something. And I remember
just standing around while they were shagging.
I wasn't in the scene where they were shagging, but I did come afterwards, and that's another episode, and wave goodbye to the camera.
So you didn't have to be naked, though?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was in a porn. I didn't do anything in the porn.
Right.
You weren't jerking off or anything?
No. I remember standing off to the side, and I was wearing a suit, and I had an erection, and I remember thinking to myself, people might think this is inappropriate in the workplace.
You don't know with porn, though, do you?
Porn, but it's like everyone else was like blasé, the cameraman, and I was like, here we go again. And I was like, that was my first live porn.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I
wouldn't know what to do in that situation.
This might be why I can't get a game show in Australia.
Maybe. You don't want. And what about the live show, the Tonight Show thing you were doing?
Oh well,
were you sick of that, or what happened there?
No. What happened there was
that was good.
The show was going gangbusters, but the network just stopped making TV. So Comedy Central cancelled every show on their network apart from the Daily Show and South Park. Everything else was gone.
Really?
So what else do they have on then in between?
Well, you tell me.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They got rid of like Daniel Tosh.0, which was the show that was just filmed in front of a green screen. That would have cost them nothing. That was just using internet clips.
That got the ass as well.
Oh, everything went, and
Did they run out of money or something?
I think they were thinking we could just make sort of simple virally clips and then just keep those two big shows on,
No, that's
and then
a
just show repeats of The Office, and then you know what I mean. So they got rid of that show, and I think now they're probably rebuilding or something. The people at Comedy Central were dead nice to me. I had a wonderful time there.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, listen.
But the show was. I used to watch like John Oliver and the Daily Show and all that type of stuff, and my show. I did field pieces from all over the world.
I noticed. You were everywhere, doing everything.
No one seemed to notice. So we went to. It was bloody tiring. But what we would do is we would sort out tours. So we'd go, I'm going to go tour Asia, and then whatever city I was in the world, we'd go to a field crew, find something to talk about in there.
And I'd show up and do something.
Yeah, and then I'd interview someone for a bit, and then they'd hand it off to the people, and then so I wasn't. It was a fun time.
You made it work. And you were doing multiple things, and
we were doing like 6 or 7 interviews a day when we were in like Asia and stuff like that.
Man, that's way too much work.
If you could choose though to have like the one great gig, would it be this in-demand actor? Would it be your own like top late show? What would it be?
I'm still most proud of my sitcom. I thought
Legit.
I love Legit, man.
Legit was the greatest show I've ever seen.
I like Legit because Legit was, man, it was the only time I've ever seen disabled people on screen where they were depicted as just being funny and not really the butt of the jokes and not sort of like tear-jerking like,
this guy was getting sucked off by a hottie.
Nick Daly had played Rodney. He was shagging women in bloody bathrooms and stuff like that. I would always be standing next to Nick's mums in scenes just to make sure she was all right. Like
the real mother?
Yeah, she'd be there and taking
what's
care
she
of
doing there?
We're still friends to this day. I hang out with Nick's, not regularly, but like I remember I picked him up recently and we got in the car and we went out to Dan Backetall who played Steve, and you just seen him on Veep and all that type of stuff. And Dan rang me up and he says, I got a new pinball machine. And so I'm like, all right, I'll go and get Nick and I'll come out. And I hadn't seen Nick for about a year.
He's not really handicapped. Why do you have to pick him up all the time?
No, Nick is. Yeah, Nick's
is he?
handicapped.
Oh, I just assumed he was an actor. Acting handicapped.
Well, you'd have to be a great actor to pull it off.
I don't know what's going on.
You can't do that anymore. That's called crip face.
What?
It is.
What do you mean?
It's like you can't act outside your race. You can't act outside your disability.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so you know how you can't do blackface? Maybe you don't. Maybe I'm just telling you this for the first time.
I don't know anything about this.
All right, so you can't change your skin tone.
Right.
And now they can't. There's an argument now that you can't play outside your sexuality.
So if a gay can't play a straight either, or does it not work that way? It's only against
it doesn't go the other way.
But in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they're ditching the dwarfs in favour for real people who they're going to see PGI squat.
But this is my problem. The dwarfs
horrible.
need the work.
Yeah.
Man. You try getting a dwarf in England over the Christmas period. You can't
They're booked
employ-
out.
No,
Yeah.
they're booked out.
Yeah.
The Santa work and the pantomimes, right? There's
Yep.
a pantomime in every little village.
Yeah.
And you go there, and so many times you see it, Snow White and 7 dwarfs, and then they'll run the poster with real dwarfs, and you're like, this production, they've gone to a bit of effort.
Yeah.
They've gone to a bit of, but no, they lose work. I remember, so I'm not going to get into any argument with the comedian or something, but I won Comedian of the Year at Montreal, right?
Oh, well done. Well deserved.
No, I was just coming back. This is a couple of years ago, right? But normally they used to have like an attractive girl in a ball gown come out and give you the trophy when you won the award, right?
Yeah, right.
But I didn't. I had like a Chippendales looking guy, right? Which I don't give a shit, right? I'm married girl. What do I care? He's giving me the bloody trophy.
Still.
But then, it's because Hannah Gadsby had won it the year before, and she got presented by a woman, and she was like, "This is sexist that a woman has to give a trophy to men and all that type of stuff."
Oh, my God.
And so then we got a good-looking guy. And in my speech when I was up there, I was like, okay, if we're going to be inclusive,
Yeah.
can we have an ugly person do this?
Yeah.
Why do the good-looking just get some? And then
Why are they the trophy women
why
and guys?
isn't there just like a limbless person being represented as well, just dragging the trophy up to me with their teeth? You know what I mean?
I feel it should also go to the boxing ring. Get a couple of big fat monsters in there holding up the cards.
Exactly.
Why do you have a titty thing up there?
Yeah, why is someone attracted? But this is the whole thing. They did it at the race course, didn't they, with the flag girls and that type of stuff?
Oh, what happened to that? They took them away as well.
They took them away.
The Greek girls.
For liberation or something. But you've just cost a lot of people their jobs.
Yeah, that's a
Exactly.
problem.
Those chicks are all now-
They're not sitting at home going free at last.
Yeah.
They're sitting at home hoping they'll get some more OnlyFans people while they rub one out online. Poor things.
Oh, Jim, we love you. Thank you for coming in. Don't miss Jim Jefferies.
Well,
He's
you will
touring
miss
Australia.
it
Yeah.
because there's no tickets.
No
You've got to
tickets
go to
left.
New Zealand.
But hey, what
New
a good trip to
Zealand.
New Zealand. That'd be a fun
Maybe
one.
Adelaide, I don't know. I think the Perth ones are all done. I think
Someone
maybe.
check.
Okay.
Anyway, is there any Adelaide? You can go to Adelaide and
No,
get a
it's
ticket.
fine. Look, try and
Why don't you put another show
a
on?
good thing to
That's
be
what
sold
Bieber
out.
would do. Bieber would have done another
We've
show.
been adding show. Yeah, look what happened to his face.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
much work.
the stress it puts you
It
under.
does, yes. You don't
I
want
feel
that.
sorry for the Biebs.
I know.
Me too. I love Biebs.
But you know, I think he'll be all right. I do believe you recover from it.
I'll tell you a quick Bieber story. So
please.
when Bieber was about, he would have been about 16 or something like that. I was on the George Lopez show. He had a Tonight Show, and I just got into America. This is like 13 years ago or something. I don't know how old Bieber is, but he was about 16 at the time. And I was sitting there with his mum, who incidentally is the same age as me. And I remember thinking, I should go out with this woman. She's shit out of cash machine. I should have Biebs. Anyway, so I'm sitting there with Biebs, and then I've never done this before, but I rang up my niece, who was very young at the time. She's older now, of course, but she was maybe 12 or something at the time. And I said, look, man, I have a niece in Australia. And I said, it's quite early in the morning now, but if you could talk to her on FaceTime, I would be the greatest uncle that ever.
Yeah.
And I'm
would be.
essentially I'm talking to a 16-year-old boy, and he was so nice, and he was like anything for a believer, anything. Right?
You're a believer.
Yeah, he was a believer, right? I'm not a believer. My niece was, right?
Yeah, right.
So I ring up my niece, and I had her on speakerphone. And I went, hello, Sammy. How are you? It's your favourite Uncle Jim. And I said,
Every uncle acts the same.
and I said, I said, now, who's your favourite pop star? Don't you like Justin Bieber? And she goes at this, I hate him now. I like One Direction.
In front of Bieber.
In front of the Biebs.
Oh, no. What'd you do?
I just awkwardly went, well, he wanted to talk to you, and then I just sort of hung up.
And that was it.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. She couldn't. She's like 12. She couldn't follow that up.
No, you know what? There's a message here. Don't do anything nice for anyone.
Yeah.
Why bother?
All the messages, don't diss people until you know they're out of the room.
Exactly.
Or let someone know they're on speakerphone.
Yeah, you're on
Yeah.
speakerphone.
That was also the weird thing. I've never called her up before.
Ever.
So she'd be
and I was
thinking-
like this. Did you think I was ringing up for a chat?
If you want to see Jim Jefferies, you're going to have to Google or go to New Zealand. If you're lucky enough to have tickets, the Australian tour continues. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, we're so glad you came in studio.
I'm glad I could come in, man.
Yeah, we really
too.
appreciate it because we are huge fans of you,
They
Jim.
do say a couple of tickets in Adelaide and... Oh, you have to go all the way to Wellington if you miss out on the Adelaide. Is that right, Peter?
Yeah, that's right. G'day, Jim. How are you?
G'day, mate.
That's in St. Pete. We hate him. He's just a f***ing pest. So
He looks all right.
he looks all right. We had to buy him new teeth because he had the
He keeps
gingivitis.
his sunglasses on his head all
Yeah.
the time indoors.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
ready to
Descriptions, I can't see
go. He
them
just
now.
flip his head down and they'll go,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got all that. His mum died, so...
my mum died as well.
Yeah, my dad died.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
It'll get worse as you get older.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was it recently?
Yeah, it was a bit.
well, that's a bit mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was.
Well, he took 2 weeks off.
Oh, that's all right.
That's enough. I think
Yeah.
that's
all right.
more than enough.
Yeah, 2 weeks for a mum, 1 week for a dad.
yeah.
We all know the rules. Jim Jefferies on the air this morning here at Kiss FM. Thanks, buddy.